Salutations everyone, this is Samachanga here, and I'm here to introduce you a new deck. The goal is to just basically level it up, that way we can increase your knowledge and improve your skills. So with that, we're going to be introducing a Future Box deck. Basically it's a deck surrounding future Pokemon, where the power of big attackers and have supporter Pokemon like this to help increase the velocity of damage. And with that, we got some more energies, like a little bit, I will admit. Added bonuses for other decks like tech cards, certain tools to help your Pokemon out, items. These puppies will go a long way for sure. Then your supporters. And definitely multiple copies, especially of Arven. Arven goes a long way. Now, breaking this up into a few categories, and the goal is to just help explain the functionality. So to start off, we'll have Miraidon. This Pokemon will normally be your guide to accelerate energy off. You search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards, attach them to your future Pokemon in any way you like. So basically it's any Pokemon that has like this little future icon in the corner. And I just updated it to where every Pokemon in this deck has a future title. That way it'll benefit anyone you pull. And for this Miraidon, we run 3 copies. These are the other 2. This Miraidon is just kind of like a little protector with its little code protect ability. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to each of your future Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon EX. And if this Pokemon is no longer in the active spot, this effect will end. Our bundles basically here is like a good switch card. For like once during your turn, if this Pokemon is on your bench, you may switch it out with one of your opponents. Switch it out your opponent's active Pokemon to the bench. They choose a new Pokemon, and if you do this, discard this Pokemon all cards attached to it. You kind of want to save this Pokemon as a last resort. Iron Hands is going to be your main attacker. He's going to be your main attacker for sure. Aside from Arm Press and Ampy very much, that's why you kind of need the Miraidon, just so it can just power it up like so. That way, you can use Ampy very much, even though it does do less damage. That's why you use Arm Press for the most part to soften it up at the first time around. And you use this to just kind of be like that finishing blow, where you can actually take another prize card if you were to knock it out with this attack. And we run 2 of those puppies. And the crowns are your damage amplification, where attacks used by your future Pokemon, except any Iron Crowns, aka this one, do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before weakness and resistance. Meaning, you can stack 20 more damage, like it will do 140 and 180. And of course this ability will stack if you have like 4 of them in play, or even 3 or 2 of them. And basically it's just adding by 20 at that point. And Iron Thorns EX is a good stall Pokemon, where its ability installation, as long as this Pokemon's in the active spot, Pokemon with a rule box, like in EX, both yours and your opponents have no abilities except for future Pokemon. And you can see the reason why I play this. We run 2, mostly because also its ability is nice, but also its attack Volt Cyclone. It may hit for 140, but you can also move an energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. And with it also having a 4 retreat costs, helps us out with a little tool card called Heavy Baton, where if the Pokemon this card's attached to has a retreat cost of exactly 4, and is in the active spot, and is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, you can move up to 3 energy cards from that Pokemon to your bench Pokemon any way you like. It'll basically help out either another Thorns or even another Iron Hands. We run at least 2 of those in this deck. Then we got Future Booster Capsules, which also increase the damage output by 20, and help give them a free retreat. Because some like Iron Thorns EX may need that free retreat in case of like a sticky situation you may be in. The only caveat is that this does not stack. You can only have 1 tool to a Pokemon. And in case if you can't find any supporters, Town Store goes a long way. This Stadium card. Benefits both players. It depends on who wants to use it or not. But once during each player's turn, that player may search their deck for a Pokemon tool card, reveal it, and put it into their hand. Basically, it's like a free search of just putting this into your hand, in layman's terms. And then Gravity Mountain is great against big Stage 2 evolution decks that will exist that we'll get into like another time. But that's the reason why this is here. It basically gives those Stage 2 Pokemon 30 less HP, meaning like it will basically soften them up for your future Pokemon to go in for the kill a little easier. And in terms of items, it's a little different. Like we got a counter catcher that will basically give you an advantage if you're behind on prize cards. It'll basically be like a switch, an energy switch that will help you move a basic energy from your discard or from one of your Pokemon to one of your Pokemon. Pokegear basically helps you have an easier time search for a supporter. And I'm going to find the other one here to help out. Yeah, Electric Generator, where it helps basically draw for lightning energies if you look at the top 5 cards of your deck. And if you can't, it's just unfortunately a dud. The same goes for the Pokegear. Switch is what you think it is. Then we got 2 copies of Earthen Vessel. Those will help you find some energy just in a case scenario. And the reason why these also say Ancient is because it's an Ancient card. And don't let that fool you. There are some that can actually work off one another in terms of like item-wise. Pokemon-wise, it's a little different story, but item-wise, Earthen Vessel goes a long way in just any deck right now. So I highly recommend it. Techno Radar. These are basically going to be your Nest Ball replacements. Even though you have to discard a card from your hand, the fact that you can search your deck for up to 2 future Pokemon to reveal and put into your hand goes a long way. I think I have, I got 2 more. Yeah, another switch. And our ace spec is Prime Catcher. This puppy gets played a lot. I'm being honest, it gets played a lot. And the reason why is because you can switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. They have no say in that. If you do switch your active Pokemon, you can also switch one of your bench Pokemon to the active spot as well. You mostly want to save that card as like a last resort, to be honest. Now we'll get into supporters. Here we got Penny, which basically just puts one of your basic Pokemon, all cards attached, into your hand. So like if, say, your Miraidon is on the verge of death, and you want to like preserve your energy, you can basically play it to just save it from harm's way. Then we got Boss's Orders, which is what you think it is, just basically having a say in what goes in the active spot. Kieran is an interesting supporter where you can choose one of its options, where you can either switch your active Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon, or during this turn, attacks used by your Pokemon do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon EX and active Pokemon V. Those are rotated out now, to be honest with you, but we're mostly focusing on EXs in this new format. Arven is a great supporter, in my opinion. He can help you search for basically an item and a tool card at the same time, hence why we run 4 in this deck. Then Iona is where each player basically shovels their hand into the bottom of their deck, and they draw for how many prize cards they have remaining. And prize cards are basically cards you set aside, like so. You'll set them aside like this. And basically, if you had like, say, it was like the start of the turn, and you had to play this card, and it was like your first turn, you basically like draw yourself a new hand, but the only caveat is that would be 6 cards, because you only have to have a maximum of 6 prize cards in your deck, or in your game, I should say. And then in terms of energy, it's a little interesting, and that's why I'm leveling this up slowly. So we've got 2 psychic energy, and the 2 psychics are typically for your Iron Crown, in case we want to use twin shots, where this attack will do 50 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, and ain't affected by a weakness, resistance, or by any effects on those Pokemon. It's a lot of mumbo jumbo where basically it can like go through certain effects, or like certain stats effects, if I remember correctly. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, basically it's like guaranteeing you can do bench damage. I believe just a Pokemon in general. Yeah, just the 2 of them. Doesn't even say bench. So you even got options like that. and that's why I run the 2 Psychic, just in a case scenario. And then just to guarantee energy, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Did I got that right? I'm gonna make sure real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I was off. My bad. That way we can guarantee there will be energy in store to power up these Pokemon, because these Pokemon are definitely going to need energy, especially when it comes to your Iron Hands. This puppy is going to be the one that's going to take up most of the energy. Well, it's nice. Remember, Rhydon doesn't take much energy. It only takes basically 1 of any Psychic or Lightning to help accelerate energy to your future Pokemon. Most of the time, some tech cards like, say, the Gravity Mountain and the Town Store, Iron Bundle is mostly just a tech card, to be honest with you. And it's good for like just situations in a game where you feel like you're either falling behind or need like a last resort. That's where Iron Bundle will come in. And we'll get into that like another topic another time for sure. Or maybe I explain it on the next video where I'm going to be explaining basically the opposite. And I'll introduce you guys to my Ancient box deck, which is basically the polar opposite of this of this deck. But I'll get into that in the next video. But with that being said, I believe that is all I have for giving you a little bit of an introduction to the future. But yeah, if there's any questions or comments or concerns, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them in any way I can. But thank you all so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day.